So, good morning, and thank you for the sitting together and for this opportunity to share a little bit with you about the Dharma and certainly my appreciation of it. And today begins the third week of a 5-part series on the 5 faculties, 5 capacities, abilities that we all have that are so special when developed that in Buddhism they can be called indriyas. I translate that as divine qualities. And it's nice that we have these divine qualities inside ourselves. And today's the faculty that emphasizes mindfulness, Sati. And the first thing to appreciate is that Sati, as awareness or as mindfulness, is a faculty, is a functioning ability of the mind or our inner life. And so it's important to say that because distinct from mindfulness as a faculty, there's also mindfulness practice. And mindfulness practice takes the faculty we have, the simple capacity for awareness, and unites it, connects it with other supportive factors so that the faculty of mindfulness itself grows and develops and gets stronger. So most classically, it's connected to ardency and clear comprehension. So there's a certain kind of enthusiasm for being aware, and we use the awareness to clearly recognize what's happening in the present moment. And that recognizing clear comprehension then is a feedback loop that supports more awareness, the growth of it, the stability of it, the strengthening of it. But in and of itself, mindfulness Sati is the basic human capacity for attention, for awareness in the most basic form. And we're using this very basic capacity that we all have, and we're developing it, strengthening it, highlighting it, purifying it, clarifying it, letting it become broader, letting it become a basis of trust, a place of rest, a place to dwell or abide in the field of awareness, in mindfulness. And so we begin with the very simple acts of just being aware, and then as the practice deepens, the simple thing remains simple, but it becomes more and more powerful, more and more unique or special, or more and more a treasure that we have. For the uninitiated, it might seem that being aware of things is boring. It doesn't have anything much special to it. But as the mindfulness keeps growing and developing, it's quite special. It's quite wonderful, and I just delight in having spent, adult lifetime exploring, developing, playing, struggling with awareness and mindfulness, and exploring the ins and outs and all the different ways that it works, and all the things that it reveals and clarifies, and all the ways in which it challenges me and shows me parts of myself that need more work or need more attention, or places I get caught and places where I can become free. I can't imagine, kind of ever coming to a time where I no longer want to be mindful. It's just like one of the best things going. I trust the mindfulness so much, and it seems like life goes so much better with mindfulness. So to cultivate this mindfulness, so it begins, and with in the suttas and the teachings of the Buddha, he often begins his instructions on mindfulness and developing mindfulness and awareness with the simple instructions to establish mindfulness to the forefront, to establish oneself in the present moment with attention. To do that, it uses support of the first two faculties that we've talked about the last 2 weeks. So there's faith or confidence that it's worthwhile to do it. There's trust in that it's worthwhile to be in the present moment, have an awareness which comes into the present, keeps coming back to the present. And then there's that initiating effort to do so. And many times in life, either because we're a beginner in practice or because we've been busy and involved in many things in our life, concerns, it's not so easy to really be rooted in the present moment. And so we begin exploring, how can we arrive in the present? And this arrival in the present is kind of synonymous with becoming aware in a more sustained way. Because when we're aware, keenly aware, we are aware of what's happening in the present. If we're really in the present moment, then chances are there is a fair amount of awareness and attention. Especially if we're at rest in the present moment, we have some sense of ease and well-being. The ability to be aware is just a natural functioning of the mind. So this initiating mindfulness, establishing awareness, has a number of features that support this. One is to be intentional about it, to have a sense that this is what I want to do, this is what I'm committed to doing, or if commitment is too strong a word and makes you kind of tight, this is what I'm devoted to doing, or what I'm setting myself to do. It's become really clear that to be present with awareness, to be aware in the present, is what I'm going to try to do. So, I trust that, or I'm committed to that more than being swept away and caught up in thoughts and concerns and feelings and activities. Nothing necessarily wrong with thoughts and feelings and activities, but when we're doing mindfulness meditation, to be clear that what we're doing is to cultivate the capacity to be in the present moment. So that sense of intentionality and clarity, this is what I'm here to do. And then to do a variety of things, hopefully not too many things or too complicated things, but something that might even be a kind of little bit of a ritual of arriving. That's, okay, here I am. Classically in Buddhism, there's people who do a Buddhist chant first. They chant the refuges, they chant the precepts, and as a really of kind of bringing forth their intentionality, their sense of purpose, and to go through kind of a ritual that kind of pulls them into the present moment. It takes some attention to chant. Sometimes it's, I used to, for a number of years, always do some walking meditation before I did sitting meditation. And that little bit of walking was kind of like a ritual of being in my body, getting settled, letting go of the things of the day. And then I would go sit down, and then I had a more clear sense of presence as I sat down. It could be that if you have an altar, that you bow to the altar before you sit down. If you don't care for that, it might be that you go look out the window or have a cup of tea first, or go for a little walk around the block first to kind of shift things a little bit for you so that you're not just rushing along in a busy life and then plopping, sitting down. Or it could be that when you do sit down, you're not in a hurry to start being present, or you use kind of deep breathing, movements of your body, rocking back and forth, something to kind of remind you in a ritual of arriving, of coming here. I'm going to be here, sit here. And so intentionality, a little ritual or a little process of kind of arriving, giving yourself time to arrive. And then awareness practice, being present, has helped a lot by relaxation. Not too much and not overdone, but just some relaxing. And so the relaxing the tensions of the body, that which is easy to relax, soften and relax. Some things can't be relaxed, but there can be a softening of the body, of the shoulders, of different things. And a softening of the mind. I talk a lot about the thinking muscle, and what I mean by that is the tension, the pressure, the hardness, the pulling, the contractions, the swirling of energy that's connected to thinking sometimes. And sometimes that energy or that tension around thinking needs to relax, because if we don't, if the mind is kind of being tense and a lot of pressure, no matter how much we let go of our thoughts, we just keep pumping out more. And it's kind of like if you keep squeezing the toothpaste roll tube, and you can keep wiping off the toothpaste from the top, but if you keep squeezing it, it'll keep coming out. You have to stop squeezing the toothpaste tube for the paste to stop coming out. So so softening the thinking muscle. And then the next thing about initiating mindfulness, establishing mindfulness here, is to remember that mindfulness, awareness, is very, very simple. If it's not simple, it probably isn't mindfulness. That it's a simple recognition, a simple awareness of the present moment. Just this, just this. And sometimes I'll actually use the phrase, just this, to remind myself of simplicity. Just this, just being present for this, just being aware of this. Sometimes I use the word here for this initiating mindfulness. I'll just say here in a very kind way, a relaxed way, H-E-R-E, and then I'll just kind of I say here in kind of a sense of opening my awareness, my attention, to just recognize what's here, without any preference for one thing or another, just whatever here is happening. If it's a busy mind, I'm recognize, oh, here's a busy mind. If it's a lot of sounds around me, here's a lot of sounds. If there's a lot of sensations in the body, here's sensations. If I'm tired, here's tiredness. Nothing more complicated than that. And I'll just do that in a nice rhythm here. Just this. As a way of support me to kind of arrive, to settle in, to kind of beginning to let go of the energy, the focus on thoughts, ideas, concerns, past, future. Rather than fueling those or keeping those going by being involved with them, the energy, the fuel of attention begins going someplace in the present moment, in the simplicity of here, just this. So mindfulness, in its simplest form, is just being aware and then discovering what is here. Being more connected, being more aware of what's here, more conscious, and not having a sharp line between inside and outside, especially mindfulness in daily life. But to be relaxed and open and then just be established here. To be established here with mindfulness in the forefront. Mindfulness in the forefront I understand to mean that with mindfulness in the center of it all, or mindfulness is where we kind of abide or emphasize. Established here and now. As that initiating mindfulness, initiating effort begins to take hold and take root, then the mindfulness begins to have other capacities, and then mindfulness practice has a chance to come into play, where the practice of mindfulness is not just the awareness, but it's bringing in associated mental qualities or activities that begin to enhance that capacity for awareness. And that'll be the topic for tomorrow. So I hope that you'll spend this next day being curious and interested in the nature of your awareness, of mindfulness, how simple awareness is, and what happens when you stay very, very simple and just recognize, oh, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. Establishing mindfulness, establishing awareness throughout the day. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to sharing this with you tomorrow. Thank you.